welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host tonight, Scott Minton. With us, we have Matt Jasnoff.
James?
Rick James, that's right. Mr. Josh, and then Ryan. How are we doing, gentlemen?
I'm doing pretty good.
So today's episode, we're going to do something a little special. We're going to talk about Father's Day. We're going to make this one fast and furious, quick and simple and easy. Just a nice little 30-minute episode to talk about.
That's the way I like it.
Dads. And you wish that that's the way you liked it, was 30 minutes.
Hey, if only you could get there, right, Josh?
Let's go ahead and ask. Ryan, are you a dad?
I am not a dad.
Do you have a dad?
I do have a dad, yes.
All right, fair enough.
So I am, 6 months married now?
You're still happy.
I am happy at the moment. Kids in the future, not right now.
There you go.
I'm a dad. I've got a 9-year-old. I love that kid.
Yep.
She's got all of my meanness wrapped up in her.
Dude, I love your kid. I think she's too funny. She makes me laugh every time I get around her.
She got all of her mama's sass in her.
So she got mom's sass, dad's meanness. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Dude, she's 9. In 9 years, I mean, she's going to be smacking them.
So she kind of reminds me a little bit of my youngest daughter.
Are you trying to remember your youngest daughter's name?
No. It's just, I will say, Amelia will never be picked on.
Never.
Like, she will never be picked on.
You know, 6 or 7 years of gymnastics, she's maybe stronger than me, and I'm like, 3 times her size.
Yeah, I love the stories that we get random text at, 8 o'clock at night, and Josh is like, we just pedaled up a hill, and I'm fucking wore out, and my daughter just beat me up the top of the hill. So.
Well, she probably did.
She got young legs, man. Young legs will defeat just about anything in life.
Yeah, absolutely. What were you going to say there, Ryan? We've interrupted you a couple times.
No. I was gonna. You know what? I forget what I was gonna say.
Oh, it's all good.
It had to do something with.
You and your dad.
Nope. It had to do with your daughters and nothing.
So Scott and I are both dads of daughters. I've got a singular one daughter. Scott's got 2 daughters. Your future daughters.
Yeah, you know what? I have a family of women. I swim in the estrogen ocean. I work with women. My whole family on both sides are women. I think there's like five guys total in both my combined families.
I get it.
It is not ideal.
I get it, man. So when my daughter was born, we had 2 female dogs. So it's me, singular man, 2 female dogs, my wife, and then my daughter. So here I am at a house. I'm 2-1, really 4-1 outnumbered. That's just how it rolls, bro.
I know. I would say both me and my wife both are pushing for boys, and I work in the healthcare profession, and I know some, let's say, experts, and they have told me some secrets.
What makes them an expert?
I guess just dealing with babies and pregnant women all day long. I'm not really sure, to be honest, but they have told me some secrets to push towards the male sex, and I'm looking forward to having my first boy.
I hear you, man. You know what? I love being a dad. My daughter is amazing, and probably 10 years ago, I said, I want a boy because I was afraid of having a girl. But I love being a girl dad, and I love the interaction that my daughter and I have. And sometimes we gang up on her mom, and, we pick on her, and we tag team it. But I love being a girl dad.
So I had those same experiences when my daughters were young. But now that they are both teenagers, it's everybody against dad. Like,
so all this me trying to be the nice dad.
Get ready, Josh. 3 years, it's going to go down.
Shit's going to go downhill real fast.
So at age 9, when I'm trying to be the fun guy, the nice dad, the nice guy, that's not going to play out at age 12 or 13?
13 for sure. You're just done. I mean, unless your wife decides at some point that she's going to get completely crazy, which is possible because they're women, right? I mean, let's be honest, in some capacity, women do get a little crazy from time to time. Yeah, unfortunately, daddy's girls will not come back until they turn later, and that's what my wife's told me. So, like, both of my daughters are like, Dad, blah blah blah, Dad, blah blah blah. It's just constant sass and constant, like, they're mad at me about something, and it's rough right now for me. I can tell you that.
But if I always say yes, can it be rough for me?
Yeah.
What happens when a young scrapping gentleman
What?
comes along
What?
and says,
Stop, Ryan. Stop.
See, that's what's going to happen
is the
because some
answer gonna be
pecker is going to
yes?
show up at your house. That's exactly right.
Stop. That's a hard stop.
Like, I love your baby girl. I love my baby girls. But, like, now they have boyfriends and now they have significant others. And it complicates shit, right?
You guys just made this conversation really bad.
I'm just saying the answer is not always going to be yes.
Scott, can
Josh.
you go and pour that 140 proof whiskey again?
Absolutely. I got it right here.
No, you know what, guys? Here we are today, and we're a couple days away from Father's Day. And the talk of Father's Day, both as a dad and as a son, as a kid to a dad, you know, this is a really good time. Here we are in the middle of summer. We're in the middle of warm weather and fun outdoors stuff. But I love my dad, and I love being a dad. And I appreciate that, 30 years ago, my dad taught me what it's important to be a dad and how to be that loving, caring parent. And then, 20 years later, he taught me to love bourbon. And I want to say it was maybe, so I've been a dad now for almost 9.5 years. But about 8 years ago, we took our first Father's Day experience trip down to Wild Turkey and down to Woodford. So we took a Father's Day weekend, and we took a Saturday, left our house here in southern Indiana, drove about an hour away, hit up Woodford, then we hit up Wild Turkey. And I love the turkey.
Speaking of turkey, that is what we are partaking tonight for this special episode. We broke out the BB&T family tradition pick of the Russell's Reserve. So
That's a song, right?
family tradition, absolutely. Mr. Hank Williams.
Could you sing it for us?
Tell me now, Hank, why do you drink
To get drunk.
Why do you roll smoke to get stoned?
I know, it's get high.
Why must you live by the songs that you have wrote?
Ryan, I think Scott was wrong. I think it's to get high.
It is.
No,
to
it's
get
to
high.
get
It's to
stoned,
get high.
man. It's to get stoned. I mean,
Oh, man.
but
Well,
I guess that's the difference between country and you city boys.
City Boys, where'd you grow up in?
I grew up in Scott County, man.
That's a little
County.
north.
That's a little north. That's
you know,
enough north. My grandparents had a 400-acre farm in Memphis, man.
But
so-
you know what? You may have grown up north, but my blood is about 100% Kentucky. And it's split.
mine is 100% Kentucky. My
Mine-
mom and dad were both born in Kentucky.
My grandparents are from the hollers of eastern Kentucky, a little place called Kingdom Come down by Whitesburg.
He said come.
He just like
There y'all done
Kingdom
gone.
come.
Kingdom come.
And
Come.
my other side of the family is from the complete opposite end of the state of Kentucky. So as you may be Kentucky, I match up eastern and western Kentucky.
So my daddy's side of the family is from Brownsville / Park City, which is just north of Bowling Green. And
That's
my mom,
south, right?
south, and
That's
my
south.
my mama's side of the family is
My
from.
mama said
said-
My mama said she's from Versailles /
Indiana.
Kentucky.
Versailles.
Ooh,
That's Versailles, bro.
So Lexington, Versailles / Wolford County.
we aren't French, Josh. We aren't French.
What? Oh man.
Maybe most Louisvillians. Is that what you say?
Louisville.
We're just
Louisville.
from the Ville. From the
From the
Ville.
Ville.
I'm from the Ville and I'm proud.
Maybe the Ville comes from French origin, but I would say most of us are not.
Well, I do claim the Eastern Kentucky, probably more so than the Western Kentucky heritage, but I'm proud of those roots because that family is very hardworking. They were very dedicated to family and to farming and to whatever it took to make a strong family. So I love that heritage, even though I have been born and raised, even though I do carry a Kentucky birth certificate, I have been born and raised in southern Indiana. That Kentucky heritage is strong.
No, absolutely. I agree 100%. I was born and raised in southern Indiana. Scott County, actually. I was actually born in Scottsburg in Scott County, Indiana, at Scott Memorial Hospital. I have no idea how I got the name Scott. Delivered, actually, by
Scott and Scott.
Actually delivered by Dr. William Scott. So,
dude.
So the fact that my name is Scott, it's still fucking puzzling to me.
I hear you.
Yeah. Born in Louisville, Kentucky. Both my parents grew up here, but father was born down south Kentucky. I don't even know what the even city is called. I just know.
Was it a holler?
I don't know. What does a holler mean?
Dude, if you have to ask,
That means
you don't
you're
need
not
to
country.
know.
You don't need to know.
Damn. But I grew up in, I believe most of you guys know this city. It would be Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Oh, absolutely, Lawrence.
MGP, baby.
So literally grew up 4 or 5 miles outside of Seagram's factory. Love that smell.
Do they make Canadian stuff?
They do make Canadian stuff,
I don't drink that stuff.
but they also make some pretty darn good, delicious bourbons.
Like that OKI bottle that's
Like
sitting
that
behind you?
OKI bottle right next to me.
Yep. And I'll
Dude.
tell you what let's be honest, what they're really famous for is that 95.5.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
You love that rye?
Oh, shit, dude. You know I love that rye.
Rye's good stuff.
You know, spicy, sweet all at the same time. There's nothing like heat and sweet. That's what I tell people. I like it on my fried chicken. I like it on my tacos. Heat and sweet, wherever it is, I'll take it.
So speaking of heat and a little bit of sweet, I went to the Exchange restaurant yesterday in downtown New Albany.
Okay.
And I'm with a guy, and he's eating this. He ordered what do they call it? The Nashville Hot.
Oh, the Nashville hot chicken. Yep.
And so I had eaten,
Pretty gross. I'm not going to lie.
I had eaten the Nashville Hot about a month ago.
At the Exchange.
At the Exchange.
Okay.
It didn't fare me well. And so he ordered it, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to get that Nashville Hot. I love that stuff. Well, he did enjoy it, but I don't know how you eat that stuff and still make it through the night because that stuff gets hot.
So I don't have a problem with the heat, but I will tell you that
taste.
sometimes it gives me some. So the Exchange is really good.
Oh, I
so
love
for you, so
the
like
Exchange.
the flavor on the Exchange Nashville chicken is much different than most of your standards. It's a little bit more sweet. It's almost like an Asian Nashville hot style
Yeah,
chicken.
I can
so
see
it's
that.
So it's got some sweetness to it. So it's not quite as it's not as chemically as like what you would get at Joella's or things like that.
I'm old fashioned. I like the hot stuff, but for whatever Nashville hot just does not sit with me right.
You know what? I'm old fashioned too, and I love an old fashioned.
I do love an old fashioned.
I
as well.
love the old fashioned.
Since we're talking about dads and it's Father's Day, my dad introduced me to Indies and King's chicken back when I was a kid because my dad used to get Indies and King's chicken for the drivers at Ohio Valley Ready Mix, and he would bring in these like 100 wings at a time or things like that from those places to get it for the drivers and keep them happy and stuff like that. But man, to me, there's nothing better than some crazy
spicy dry rub Indies chicken.
You know what, guys?
That stuff is the shiz.
So during the Rona, because here we are, probably still in the middle of the Rona, but
Nah, we're at the far end. We're
at the
far end.
post Rona, there's a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Grant Line Road.
Lee's good.
Love me some Lee's.
Lee's good.
So during the
It's
middle
not
of
Indies.
It's not
I love
Indies.
Lee's.
It's not Indies, but it's
No,
good.
But in the middle of carryout, I introduced my 9-year-old daughter to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. And now she goes to a gymnastics place that's on Grant Line Road, off Grant Line Road. And she tells her mom, hey, we're just now getting out of gymnastics. Can we go to Lee's? Because one day I decided to go and hit up a little bit of Lee's, which was really good because they got some good chicken and
Oh, they're
biscuits.
spicy chicken.
So the 9-year-old's like, hey, mom, we're leaving gymnastics. Go give me some Lee's. My wife is mad.
So I'll tell you, my dirty secret about Lee's is I always always get the chicken and liver box.
Ooh.
So
I don't eat livers.
No.
Do you eat gizzards?
Chicken. Oh,
gizzards
they're
and
both
livers,
good.
man.
They're
I
both
will
good.
crush the shit out of some
It
gizzards
is.
and livers.
It is something that sounds gross, but until you try it, livers and gizzards are the best part of the chicken.
I mean, let's ask you a question.
Sure.
After you hear the name liver and gizzard,
Yeah,
how can you even try it?
Hey, you just gotta be open-minded. You gotta be open-minded.
All right. How much do you drink before you go eat gizzards?
Zero.
Were
Oh,
you one of these
listen.
guys that used to say, "I'll slice your gullet" kind
No.
of thing when you were a
No,
little
I don't
kid?
think I've ever said that in my entire life.
Gizzards and livers are not something you want to drink a whole bunch before drinking because they
You
will
want to
have-
drink a whole
They're-
bunch
they're
before
hardy.
drinking?
No, you
They're
don't.
hardy.
They're hardy, but I will tell you this: they can cause some. It's fried, right? And it's
Heartburn?
it is muscle meat. No, it will cause some gastrointestinal issues if you have way too much alcohol and
Could we move on?
gizzards and lizards.
This discussion
They
is
get
like,
we can move on wherever you want, man.
I do like Lee's famous recipe chicken though.
Least famous recipe chicken is good, but to
It
me,
is no Wendy's.
Southern Indiana,
no
Louisville,
Wendy's.
Kentucky. If you're not eating Indies or Kings, you're missing out. That's
All
just my personal opinion.
All right, let's move on to
My
Father's
dad
Day.
would tell you the same thing.
Here we are. We're about 4 days away from Father's Day, maybe a little shorter.
Yep.
And, dads are an integral part of our life. And some of us are dads, some of us are not, but we all have dads. And today I shared a Facebook picture with me and my dad from 2001.
Was that the Empire State Building you were at the top of?
No, we were at the top of the World Trade Center.
Wow.
So pre 9/11.
In March of 2001.
So about 6 months before the towers.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So Dad and I were up there in March of 2001, and I was a freshman in college. I was in engineering school, and I just made it through a whole fall semester, and I was in the middle of Calculus 1, which I hated. But we were up at the top of the World Trade Center. The wind was crazy. Our hair was a whole lot less gray than it is today. And, either way, we had a whole lot more hair than both of you guys
Yeah, at
have.
least you have hair.
Yeah. And Dad and I both still have hair.
Must be nice.
But, pretty cool experience. And, those are the things you remember when you get to have that time with your dad. And similar to getting to have that time with your dad, shortly after I became a father, we started trying to take a little more effort to be together near Father's Day. And the first real experience I remember was going to Woodford Reserve with my dad, my brother, and my grandfather. My grandfather is now 94 years old. So, going to see my grandfather, who's from Eastern Kentucky, and he was, I'm going to guess, 87 at the time, maybe.
Right.
Getting to go to Woodford Reserve, walk around, walk through the rick house, and then getting to hear my grandfather talk about, when he was 8-10 years old, and the times that his uncle had provided him moonshine. and listening to those stories about when his mom got really mad because his uncle had given him moonshine, and what he said to her, when she said something to him or told him to go do something, he mouthed off. But those are the things that you remember as a kid, you remember as an adult, and the things that you love about your dad or your grandfather. So many memories. But my first bourbon experience that I really remember was somewhere around 2013.
Are those words allowed to go in the same sentence together? The first bourbon experience that you remember?
Well, I mean,
You don't
all right.
want to. You don't want to hear my story, man.
All right. So let me back up. First bourbon experience that I remember in a positive thing.
There you go.
With my dad, my grandfather, and my brother as a Father's Day experience. And Matt, you're
I am a new father.
you're a new father. In
Congratulations, Matt.
Thank you.
like 3 weeks.
I'm afraid to drink this.
3 weeks a new father, but
So Matt knows what we're drinking here. That is the Wild Turkey family tradition BB&T pick. So
good.
it's a damn fine, tasty pour. So if we were going to talk about dad, we wanted to bring out something that just exudes dads and grandpas as family tradition, right?
Jimmy Russell, Eddie Russell, father, son, And that's where I was going. Is that we went to Woodford, we sampled it there. I had 3 generations there, and then we go to Wild Turkey, and I love the damn turkey. But you get to meet Jimmy Russell. You see Eddie Russell, and we took a tour. We got one of Jimmy Russell's granddaughters that was there, not Eddie's daughter, but a different family line. And pretty cool just to see the family tradition that ends up in Kentucky bourbon. So I don't know. Bourbon to me is family. It's special. It's got a whole lot of meaning to it.
No, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I mean, there's nothing like enjoying
Enjoying bourbon is great. Yeah.
Enjoying a pour with your family and your friends, but there's something extra special about when you can share a pour with your dad, your brother, your uncle, your grandpa. And unlucky for me, I wasn't able to share a pour with either one of my grandpas. Both of them passed away before I was able to legally drink. We'll just put it that way.
That's yeah.
So it does exude that thought process, that you're able to share a pour and share an experience, because that to me is what bourbon is all about. It's an experience in a glass, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at years and years and years of different types of experiences that you have to do those things. So
I mean, just earlier tonight, we were talking about holding off on opening a bottle until there were friends or family around. So many times we talk about how important that is to crack open that bottle of George T. Stagg that Scott's going to open in a little while.
About 10 minutes.
Yeah, about 10 minutes. The importance of that for all of us is bourbon's not about how much you spend on a bottle. It's about getting the opportunity to make that memory and to open the bottle with dad, or to open the bottle with your daughter once she's age. And, my daughter's 9, so I'm looking forward to, about 9, 10, 11 years from now when she's ready to.
Technically 12 years.
I can't do math.
Engineer can't do math.
Engineer, wow.
When we're ready to open up
Wow.
a bottle and talk, no, I'm going to have a bottle with her and let her taste good whiskey before she goes to college. That way she won't drink Canadian whiskey.
Yeah. Crown
It's
Royal.
cheaper, though, so she's going to be sipping on Canadian whiskey.
But if you invite them into tasting good whiskey, they won't drink cheap whiskey because
they're a
it's cheaper.
college student, they're going to be drinking cheap whiskey.
Ryan.
Wild Turkey 101.
Ryan. Shh.
Still, the non-father is speaking up on issues.
Non-father.
So
We're all
there's
college kids at one point.
some of us still are. So
Going back to school sucks.
It does suck. I will agree with you on that one.
So I'm very envious of both of you guys, because it sounds like you guys have had bourbon experiences with both of your fathers, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah.
I know you have, because
So,
I've heard.
so
I've heard-
my dad actually turned me on to bourbon, because when I first moved here to Kentucky, 10, 11
Thank
years
the
ago.
Lord.
I know, right? So I moved here, and straight out of college, it was Wild Turkey and Coke, or Jack and Coke is what you order at the bar.
Coca-Cola.
At UA, right? Arizona.
At Arizona, yeah. There's probably some other drinks in there that I don't know what they were,
Probably
but
a lot of tequila.
I don't want to talk about it.
We don't drink tequila.
I don't like it. So, but when I moved here, him and we went out one night, and he's like, "Listen, my only rule if you're gonna live here is you cannot order Jack and Coke. You have to order bourbon."
It's a good dad.
Dude,
Yeah.
when I was in college,
dad.
it was Seagram 7 and 7. And somebody should have said, Josh, you don't drink 7-Up in Canadian whiskey. But
you
they
really
didn't.
have like
Hey.
a thing against them, don't you?
7-7, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. No harm in
But
that.
but
He
when
went to Purdue. That was close. That was
That's
further
close enough.
north.
Exactly.
It might as well be Canada.
Wait.
shit.
Who went to Purdue? Me?
Oh,
went
no,
to
never
Purdue?
mind. You went, no, never mind.
Dude,
he went to Louisville. My
I bleed
bad.
red,
Oh,
and I
shit.
don't drink Boilermakers.
No.
My man.
Mm-mm.
Steve went to Purdue.
Hey, I got some basketball and football tickets, so when you want to go this fall, we'll go.
You mean we'll be in a stadium by ourselves?
Well, I got tickets.
Hey,
I paid for them.
I'll go.
It's still better than going to a UK game, you
Anything's better than
motherfucker.
going to a UK game.
Anything's better than going to the UK game
We're not going to talk about
So,
sports.
but when I first moved here though,
because we miss it long.
hold on, we're gonna get back on the non UK
digress.
hating. Yeah, so the non-digression track. So he was like, you have to drink bourbon. So my first bourbon experience was I had to pick between Maker's Mark and Woodford Reserve.
Well, Woodford.
Well, yeah, that he was like the Woodford's the nice stuff and the Maker's is the shitty stuff.
Well,
And
compared to those two, yes.
right, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And then it just spiraled out of control downhill 10 years
Hold on.
later, and here we
the
are
first
today.
time you had Makers and Woodford, you were like, "Wow, this is good stuff."
Yeah,
But
well,
did you
yeah,
drink?
Jeez.
Did you drink the Makers without Coke? Because when I was in college,
I did for the first time. I did.
and you're like, "Bleh."
It might have sounded something like that.
Yeah, that was definitely my first experience with.
But that's what it was, and then it just it literally, and then a week later, I found a bottle of Pappy at Liquor Barn when you could still
What?
ask them for
What?
it. Yeah.
wait,
so
wait. You were in
What?
college and you had money to afford Pappy?
I had a
we're-
job.
We're talking about Matt here.
I had a
He's
job.
always
he
had
has
money
a he has
for
a
booze.
nice he has a nice.
He's always
family
had money for
fund.
booze.
None of that is true. So
I digress.
no. So when I first went shopping, for,
Have you ever heard the term CRS, Certified Rich Son?
Oh, I thought
silver
CRS.
spoon in your mouth?
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I thought CRS meant can't remember shit.
Same
that,
thing.
That too.
Same thing. So as we digress even more, Pappy. So I went to Liquor Barn because someone had said, "Well, you have to go find a bottle of Pappy." I was like, "All right, cool. I'll go look for this Pappy that everyone
How old are
speaks
you
of."
at this point?
I just turned 21.
Must be nice because I got my first bottle of Pappy in a year ago.
I remember
So
at
28.
21.
Well, but so no. So
Woof.
I walk into Liquor Barn and I was like, "Hey, I called you all yesterday, and someone said you got a shipment in this morning, and I would like to purchase a couple bottles of it." And she was like, "Oh, okay, let me go check in the back." And she literally brings out the crate that it was in, and it was a couple of the 10-year-old squat bottles, a 20-year-old, and a 23.
so when I turned 21, you know what I got?
What?
I got a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 from a buddy.
I mean, I didn't get anything. When
You
I
know
was
what we
21.
did? We drank it that night, and then we went to the Granville.
That's what you're supposed to do.
You got-
The granny?
And you hugged the toilet for the rest of the
Granville.
night.
Did you hold his hair back? Is that what happened?
No, I'm just
Hey.
telling you. I know what
Hey,
happened.
hey, you know what? I don't remember.
Wow.
But, it,
So
but
finish
that
that
was
story,
but
Matt.
that was the only time I went to Liquor Barn, and she literally pulled out a bottle of 23-year-old Pappy and was like, "Hey, I just do you want this? Like, here you go. You don't have to wait in line for
Yes.
it."
Because the shit was just sitting on the table.
It was
Must
sitting on the
be
table.
nice.
Man,
And so, but I turned down the
What?
20-year-old because I didn't. I was like, man, I don't need to spend $500 on whiskey when I'm.
is that what it
21."
was?
No, all three bottles together were $500.
What year was this?
I got a
Hold on, all three
yeah, I could have gotten a 10, a 20, and a 23.
for $500.
Yeah.
How old are you?
They were charging
21.
more than they were
Jesus
charging more than
Christ.
retail back
No
then.
shit.
Liquor Barn's always been gouging.
Hey, wait. Hold
the
on. Hold on.
No.
No, wait, hold on. How is that gouging? It was like 230,
Yeah,
120,
that's
and
a
like
hell of a
40
good
or
price.
50.
Matt-
That's a good
but,
price.
but back then that was not that.
No, it
great
was
of
the
a
same price. The prices that was the price back then.
Matt.
It wasn't.
I don't remember.
How old are you
I don't
today?
remember Pappy beat 23
30?
being more than like
And what year was this?
I mean, it was
9 years ago.
9
so
years
roughly a
ago.
decade ago.
Yeah.
2011.
2011,
Yeah.
2009.
And you paid $500. And
no,
you,
I didn't. I only bought the 23 and the 10. I said I'll pass on the 20 year because I didn't want to spend that much money on whiskey.
Yeah, because typically, I mean, those were like in the low 100s back then.
I knew about the 23 because it had a name behind it, and the 10 year it was only $40 at the time, so I didn't care.
Goo. I would have took that.
So,
God
but
damn.
but the
Doesn't matter.
20, I didn't. I was a college kid. I was part time at work. I really didn't feel like spending an extra $120 on a bottle of booze.
No, I get it.
Damn.
That's why I got a $20 bottle of Wild Turkey 101 when I was 21.
Yeah, I got many of those.
Yeah.
But that was the year 2003.
Yeah, well, you're old. I get it.
So it sounds like you guys have just the complete polar opposite experience as me because I grew up in a family. Father,
Tequila?
I had my
No,
first wild turkey
no,
when I was
no.
6.
holy sh!
Yeah, his teeth were
What?
his teeth. His one tooth was
What?
finally coming in.
My lord!
My uncle
I-
Pete on Thanksgiving night, poured me a glass of Wild Turkey 101 to go in my Coke at age 6.
I don't actually remember my first drink till I was like 19, so different experience.
No, but I definitely know that my family grew up in both of them. My mom and dad both went to University of Louisville.
Go Cards?
Go Cards.
Go Cards.
And they
Go Hoosiers.
They still, to this day, do not like bourbon. And I've always
Sad.
wondered why that. I was born in Louisville, grew up in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, both very bourbon-friendly cities. And
Yes.
both of them, no bourbon. I did not get into bourbon until about 3 years ago.
How old are you?
I am 28. So
Damn, you're young.
So my dad was not a big bourbon drinker.
But your dad's
No.
the one that gave you the cheesy gold foil wild turkey.
No, he gave me a 101 Wild Turkey, not a cheesy gold foil. But it was a 101. But yes, so my dad always got bourbon as gifts because my dad was a diesel mechanic, and people that worked in the sales industry would always bring him bourbon and things like that. My mom, not being a heavy fan of alcohol drinking in general, because my dad was a Bud Light, Miller Lite guy, like mainly Miller Lite. He would drink that stuff by the case.
Bud Light's gross.
I hate Bud
I
Light.
agree
I
with
don't
that.
like Miller Lite, let's be honest.
Miller Lite is the best light
You guys
beer.
are full of shit.
I
There's
agree
no
with
stuff-
Ryan.
It
Is
is
there
the
a
only
thing?
one with flavor.
Well, what is wrong
that a
with
thing?
What? Yeah, anything that's
First
not
off, Natty
a
Boh was
porter.
way better.
Anything
Get outta
that-
here, Matt.
Anything that's not a
outta
porter or
here.
stout or anything that's
Okay,
dark and
okay,
tasty.
okay.
Why would you even bother
Dude,
drinking?
we're in
We're not-
college.
We're not talking about all beer
my
here. We're
God,
talking
you
about,
guys are-
we all love porters, stouts, pilsners, IPAs,
Yeah,
all that good
this is
stuff.
college beer. We made a king's chair out of 30 packs of
But
Keystone Light.
If we're talking about strictly light beer, the only one that
Let's
tastes
get some Natty
similar,
Light.
Natty
only
Boh.
one that tastes similar
Shut
to good beer is Miller Lite.
Hey guys, all right, let me just call a truce here. When I was in grad school, I went to Flanagan's. Y'all know Flanagan's Ale
Hell yeah,
House?
we know where
Oh,
Flanagan's
yeah.
is.
You know what they had?
Unfortunately.
And I didn't realize this until I was in grad school. They had the Century Club.
Right.
100 different beers, and you got a mug.
Yep.
So you go spend about $4,000 in beer, and they give you a mug.
Yeah.
$4,000.
Well, that's about it, because you eat a little bit of food. You try some Sam Adams. You try some porters. You try some stouts. You try some crappy beer, and then you try some more crappy beer, and then you get a mug.
So the New Albanian.
The New Albanian.
That's fine. Used to be called Sports Time / Richo's Pub.
Richos.
And they used to have 120 beers from all across the United States and world.
Beer snobs.
Beer snobs, absolutely. Nothing wrong with being a beer snob. We're bourbon snobs,
Nothing.
let's be
No.
honest. I mean, shit.
I have all the respect in the world for some beer snobs.
Yeah.
Beer's
yeah.
a good product.
I love beer, and I love bourbon.
Oh,
Right.
I love bourbon too.
I do. I love both a lot.
But if I had a choice to drink one or the other,
Oh, it's.
I'm gonna have a
no-
bourbon.
No
I'm
doubt.
having bourbon all day long.
all day
But
long.
once upon a time, I was a beer guy.
We've changed you.
The Louisville experience has changed me. I moved
That
here.
one,
I moved here 7 years ago, and
that one time I made Ryan wait overnight with me at a liquor store changed
that-
his life.
So the best part of that story is that, I would say the most rare whiskeys come during the November, December, January era, right? Sorta. You know,
I mean, the best ones come out in September with the Old Forester.
The best ones
birthday
are the
bourbon.
ones that don't come out.
right?
Shut up.
No,
It's
seriously,
It's
the-
the Old Forester birthday bourbon in
like
September.
yeah, but the store picks that don't hit the shelf, like the
Yep.
things that you actually get to go pick out and try yourself, those are the best ones.
Yeah,
Well,
which
let's
are
go.
usually in the late fall to summer, or it's not summer, or winter days. And Matt was like, "Hey, come with me. We're gonna go get some foolproof Weller." And I'm like, "Awesome, sounds great." And
He popped your Buffalo Trace chair.
he did. He really
And I
did.
said, make sure you bring a chair and a sweatshirt because it's going to get cold.
So
at night.
I brought a chair. I did bring a sweatshirt, but it looked like everyone else had been there for hours, right? So they're sitting in chairs. They're in snow pants.
They have, like,
they're
heaters.
they're in winter coats, and I'm in here in a pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt. And at the time, I'm like, you know what? This is okay. I didn't know we were going to sit there for another 6 hours.
16 hours.
Guys.
So we sit there, and I'm freezing my nuts off the whole goddamn time. But it was worth it in the end. I guess I got a nice store pick.
It was the first time.
Yeah, it was.
You got a store pick Buffalo Trace?
store
foolproof.
pick foolproof Weller,
That's a store pick Buffalo
I mean-
Trace.
and it was very good.
Oh, BS.
I think Scott has a couple foolproofs we can open and
One of
try.
them-
We could and change your mind.
One of them supposedly tastes like cotton candy.
Which one would that be?
I don't think
Silver
any
dollar.
The silver,
bourbon.
the double medallion.
It
I
might
have
be.
the double medallion.
It might even be marshmallows instead of
The
cotton.
Yeah,
marshmallow
I-
one is fantastic.
I don't think any bourbon tastes like cotton candy, but
Oh, I've had some
marshmallow
bourbon.
No, I
that
think
tastes
the
tastes
like
bourbon
different
actually
candy.
tastes like
All right,
Really?
all right, guys. All right, let me interrupt here. We're talking about Father's Day.
We've
So,
really derailed this
hold
whole
on. I do
conversation.
want to get
about
back on
Day.
Father's
Bourbon
Day.
does
All
that.
right, bourbon does do that, which is good because it instills good conversation between everybody.
And Rick
So-
James.
And Rick James. So we have a tradition.
Family
and-
tradition?
A family tradition. And I'm not going to sing.
Just
so
like
don't
Wild
worry about
Turkey.
We
it.
already sang. We sang
It's
without
a
you.
family tradition.
I don't know if that was
wait a
singing.
minute.
Why do you drink?
to get drunk,
Why do you real smoke?
To get high.
to get high.
we
It's-
always said to
it's
get
definitely
stoned.
not stoned. It's
Is
to get
there an
high.
eclectic acoustic guitar in the background that I don't?
I
hear
could probably
right
get my
now?
daughter down here to play some
She could,
guitar
that'd be
for us.
fun,
You
actually.
smoke.
So
It's to get high.
Now this is gonna sound super morbid, but
Oh,
we-
don't do that then.
No, just relax, Grasshopper. So we always
You can't call me that because I'm older than you.
Yeah, Matt's.
But I guess
Matt
when it
the
comes to
baby here?
bourbon, though, you are definitely the grasshopper
Yeah,
to
you are
the,
definitely not older
to the
than me when it comes
Nas.
to bourbon. So
Young grasshopper.
we do what's called a dead father's toast every Father's
That
year.
sounds gross.
Why is that gross?
I don't know, man.
I'm confused. Anyway, so what you do is, bourbon or not, you guys pour a drink of whatever it was that your father or grandfather always drank, and that way you guys can respect it a little bit. And it's
Well,
a
they
little
drink
tribute to you.
moonshine, dude.
Then we get moonshine.
In the holler.
Then we get moonshine.
Let's go to the holler.
I'll see you in there.
Hey, y'all want to go down to the holler next month?
Sure. Dale Holler. Oh no.
Music singers have always been a real close family.
We do not own the rights to this music.
But we could sing it if we drink a little more.
Tell me now, Hank. No.
Why? All right. Fair enough, dude. Father's Day. Here we are. It's a couple days before Father's Day, and hopefully we'll release this episode on Father's Day. Dads are important. My
Dads
dad
are very important.
My dad is super important to me. He taught me more things than I will ever know, and he taught me how to be a dad, how to be a man, how to be respectful, and then eventually he taught me how to enjoy bourbon. He may not have realized he taught me how to enjoy bourbon, but there are days and times when we went to go to Woodford or go to Wild Turkey and enjoy bourbon that meant more to me than he probably realized. So, bourbon brings people together. Bourbon is an opportunity for us to share a special bottle or that bottle of George T. Stagg that Scott has sitting over there unopened.
That GTS is still over there. I'm just throwing that
So,
out there.
Bourbon is about family, and it's about community, and it's about friendships, and all that other stuff. So, to all the dads out there, I'll raise this family tradition, Russell's Reserve Single Barrel
Here.
2020 from
Dilly Dilly.
wherever it's at.
That's not dilly dilly.
Dilly
No,
Dilly
that's
is
not- it's
Bud
not.
Light, and Bud Light tastes like crap.
I agree.
But
Bud Light does taste like crap.
but-
Retracted that statement.
But why?
Josh, you gonna throw your glass up, or are you just gonna?
Cheers, bro. Cheers, and Russell's Reserve and Old Forester. Bourbon.
tasty.
Bourbon is good, and bourbon is that thing that just brings us together, and we're thankful for that. And to all you dads out there today that are thinking about your kids, or maybe your dad, whether he's here now or not, we salute you and we cheers you, and we're appreciative for you. Thankful for the dads before us, and thankful for the Jimmy Russells that are dads that have trained their sons, Eddie Russell, to be the bourbon men that they are today. So I love bourbon, but more importantly, I love my dad, and I love being a dad. So in 12 years, as Matt pointed out earlier,
Glad you could remember math instead of do it.
I will introduce my daughter to bourbon and share with her some fun story about the time that I got to take my grandfather to Woodford Reserve and take my dad with me and to enjoy that special pour that day. So happy Father's Day to everybody out there.
Happy Father's Day indeed to everybody.
And to our new dad in the group here.
Happy
thanks.
Father's Day, Matt.
Happy Father's Day.
I know, first one.
Your first Father's
First
Day.
of many, right?
Yeah.
You know, your Father's Day where there's limited sleep. But maybe
What is the sleep you speak of?
Shit, ain't that the truth?
Passing out from bourbon does not count as sleep.
no,
Oh, it sure hell's does.
now you
It's
just
the best sleep.
you pass out from lack of sleep.
Maybe not scientific
But
sleep.
on the occasion, you drink a little bourbon and it helps you go to sleep.
Oh my God. So like the first night, it was like 2 ounces of bourbon. I think I slept like just like that
And then the next morning, you woke up and your wife kicked your ass.
twice.
Let's talk a little bit about this bourbon.
Yep.
Because we haven't.
It's family tradition. It's Russell's Reserve single barrel.
Thanks, Josh.
It's an amazing pick, as is most all of the Russell's Reserve picks.
Yep. It's by BB&T. I don't really know what the BB&T stands for. I wish it would say.
It used
Bourbon
to
Barrel
stand
Talk.
for Branch Banking and Trust.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm pretty sure that's not what it is. So I just know these gentlemen picked it. It's got a crazy looking cool turkey and the country music singer garb, and I think it's just a damn fine pour. Matt,
I agree. It's good. Nothing wrong with it.
nothing wrong. God, I hope
No.
there's nothing wrong.
It's
with
kind of cool because, last year on Father's Day, there's a couple places that did a really unique Russell's pick, and then the Four Roses Distillery actually did a 15-year-old 6-month Father's Day tribute bourbon.
That's pretty old for Four Roses, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty uncommon.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
And it
I think
is tasty and
You got some at home?
Of course.
I think the
Do I
oldest-
have a Four Roses pick, really?
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, we really need to get you over to Matt's place. It'll-
Motion to.
Have you not seen that collection yet?
No, he hasn't.
Holy,
Josh has actually not been over
holy
there.
crap.
It's pretty ridiculous.
So I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to pause, and we'll move this to Matt's house.
That's fine. My wife actually approved that we could do the podcast at my house.
You have a good basement
by the
for
way.
it. You have
Yeah,
a
I
good,
do.
You
And
have
that table's set up, too.
You do. You have a good basement.
All right.
I loved your
Matt,
dog.
we're glad to hear that you have a 3-week-old daughter.
3-week-old, yes.
And you're finally learning to sleep without bourbon.
No.
But you know what? Being a dad's awesome. We're appreciative for all of our dads out there. Dads are awesome, and bourbon dads are even better.
Bourbon dads are even better.
Absolutely. Bourbon dads, bourbon grandpas, bourbon sons,
Bourbon Barrel Talk.
bourbon barrel talk.
That's what BBT stands for.
Bourbon.
That's
Barrel
exactly what bourbon
Talk.
barrel talk stands for, BB&T.
Here, here.
So,
Here.
That being said, we are cheersing out.
It's a family tradition.
It is a
It
family
is.
tradition.
I hope you, your dad, your grandpa, whoever's with you today on this Father's Day, enjoys a pour, opens a special bottle, and really dives into what makes your family and bourbon great. And us and the BB&T family, Bourbon Barrel Talk, we wish you all a happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, bro.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
And this is Matt, Scott, Josh, and Ryan signing off.
And Hank Williams Jr.